The Green Room. The Green Room with Scott Martin. Speaking to some of Northern Ireland's most recognizable faces and getting to know the person behind the title.
In association with Town Square Belfast.
And
Lisburn's 98 FM.
Hello and welcome to The Green Room with Scott Martin, a series of interviews where we speak to some of Northern Ireland's most recognisable faces and find out a little bit more about the person behind the title. On this, our very first episode, I'm delighted to be joined by a very recognisable face indeed. That is none other than Miss Northern Ireland Anna Leitch. Anna, welcome to The Green Room. How are you?
I'm the very best. Scott, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Well, the idea behind this is that we speak to some of Northern Ireland's most famous faces and find out a little
Feels so strange when you say that. One of the famous faces. I can't believe I'm one of those people now. It feels so strange.
Well, I think you're going to have to get used to that. We speak to some of Northern Ireland's most famous faces and find out a little bit more about their background, where they grew up. So do you want to take it away?
So I am from Cookstown. Now I currently live in Lisburn. I moved back in February 2020 before COVID hit. So I just decided, you know what, I'm 25 now, I need to just get out of the family home, just move on, spread the wings, leave the nest and just, become more independent. So, but yes, my family are from Cookstown and I went to Cookstown High School and I have one sister, Lydia, who is also a teacher as well. So lived with both my parents and we always had a cat running around in the house. At one point we had two cats and one of the cats was called Snooker. And Snooker, the reason behind Snooker's name is because he used to sit beside my dad and when Dad was watching the snooker he would be watching the balls fling across the screen, and that's why Dad was like, right, name for you, Snooker. So yes, love cats, but we don't have any at the minute, but I think my parents would really, really like another one. So
maybe at some stage in the future then another cat into the family?
Unfortunately I can't get a cat for myself up at Lisburn because my boyfriend's actually allergic.
Okay.
So that's a no-go for me, but I can always visit back home in Cookstown.
Yes, and then none of the hassle of having to feed it.
I know.
And then you decided to go down the route of primary teaching, so what was the motivation behind that, or where did that come from that you decided to choose primary teaching as a career choice?
I think because my mum and my dad aren't, my dad's a jeweller, he has an antique and jewellery shop in Cookstown, and mum, she is a health visitor, but she recently retired back in August. But my auntie, who actually lives right beside us in Cookstown, she's been working in the education sector all her life, and she was a learning support teacher, and then she went on to be a principal, and she has always been so career driven. And I think just from listening to her talk about education and talking about the kids from a very young age, it sort of inspired me to go down that route. And I've always, ever since a young age, I've always played teachers at home with my sister. I remember getting into my mum's lovely big long cream high heel boots, and I would stomp around the house in those, and I would pretend to teach my younger sister, and I was always the boss, I was always the teacher, and she was always the child. So I think, there's always been that little side of me that's wanted to teach younger kids, and be a role model for them. And I think probably because somebody's so close to me at home, within my family, was within that sort of that, within education, she sort of spurred that on for me as well. So. And
what's the reality like now versus the childhood impression of being a teacher? If we were to be a fly on the wall in your classroom now, would we see you in the boots on, stomping around the classroom and being very bossy?
Yes, part of it, yes. I do like to dress well when I go in to teach the kids, but no, I mean, do you know what? It is such a wonderful job to be in, to have the opportunity to mould little kids. Now, I'm a P1 teacher, so they're about 4 and 5, and they're just little rays of sunshine coming in, and they're just so funny. They're so funny. There's never a dull moment in my teaching day, and I really, really enjoy my job, and just being able to see children come into my classroom in September. I mean, I have some kids that can't even hold a pencil. They've never seen words before, they've never seen a storybook before, and to be able to see the progress they make from September right through to June, and then they're able to pick up a storybook, they're able to read words, they're able to write sentences from not even being able to hold an actual pencil. It's a very, very rewarding job.
Yeah, a very steep learning curve at that stage.
Yeah. There's a lot of you get a lot of satisfaction from it. Now, in saying that, there are some kids that really takes a bit longer than others, but you do get there in the end, and it's that is just so rewarding.
Good.
And also studying for a master's as well, is that right?
Yes.
What's the motivation behind that?
So I suppose again I will refer back to my Auntie Helen. She is principal at Market Hill Primary School. And she's got so many qualifications. She's got her Masters of Education, she's got her PQH, she's got her PhD, she's a doctor now. And she has always inspired me to want to climb the ladder within the education sector. I mean, being a teacher, I don't feel it's just enough for me. Now, I know that is enough for a lot of other people and they just want to stop there and then. But for me, I think she has sort of, again, just been that person to sort of drive me further. And, you know, I want to do better. I want to, you know, possibly one day become a principal. So I thought, you know, doing a master's in education leadership is a good stepping stone for me to go further ahead and reach that point. And I got the results for my master's. Now the final result isn't coming out until it's tomorrow actually. Okay. But I got I sort of think I think I've basically passed, but I don't know for certain. Well, I sort of do because I have got the results, but they have to add it all up and put it past the examining board and things like that. So I think I've hopefully got it. Fingers crossed. Pray for me, guys.
Yeah, big day tomorrow then. So obviously very interested in children and their development and their learning and their progression through, but very driven yourself personally as well in your career and your own development. So where does the modelling come into that? Is that not almost a distraction to your career and your aspirations?
A distraction? I would say, well, I mean, the fact that I have been able to carry on, I mean, with teaching full time, I don't think so. I mean, there would be a lot of girls that would go into the likes of a beauty pageant and they would do modelling and they would, you know, they would stop what they're doing, they would stop their full-time job or whatever to be able to do that, take a year out. But for me, that's not the case, because the reason why I went into Miss Northern Ireland was to be a positive role model for young children and young people and even young adults. I mean, a lot of the adults, a lot of the parents within the kids in my class, they are all in their some of them are in their early 20s. So I feel I am a positive role model for them, and it's a privilege to be able to interact with them on Instagram now, and I feel like the platform to do that. And that's sort of the reason why I went into Miss Northern Ireland, to have this platform to be a positive role model for young people, and I wanted to carry on with that. I didn't want to just stop it there, because yes, you can be a positive role model being Miss NI, but I feel I'm doing most of that by teaching in my school, you know, and being able to promote positive mental attitude to life. And I think since coming back to school after COVID, after the lockdown, a lot of kids were coming back with very little social interaction because they had lost out on interacting with their peers. And you know, they'd been at home with their mummies and their daddies, but they weren't playing with younger children of their age. And some of them came back and they didn't have a clue even what to say to the other kids, you know. So I felt it was my duty to really build up that self-esteem and that self-confidence again, and allow kids to have the confidence to, you know, fulfill their dreams and do absolutely anything they wanted, you know, to do in life. So that's my goal, and, you know, I definitely wouldn't say it's taken away from that. In fact, I would say it's definitely, you know, it's allowed me to do much more.
That makes sense. And to get to that point where you are Miss Northern Ireland and you're able to use that platform to be a role model for children and to be able to promote positive mental health and all that sort of thing, it involves quite a bit of actually putting yourself out there. Was there ever a part of you that thought, after everything that you've achieved up to now and the success that you've had up to now, that actually, do you know what, I'm not going to go for it because there's a risk that you could potentially fail in quite a public domain?
Yeah.
Doesn't work out.
So I applied for Miss Northern Ireland back in, was it November 2020? Yes. So yes, this time last year actually. And I was sitting down one night and I was looking through Instagram and Catherine Walker had come up, previous Miss Northern Ireland. And I said to my boyfriend, I said, isn't she amazing? She went on to be Miss Northern Ireland, and she's sort of a similar job to me, working in the public sector, and she carried on. She carried on being a nurse whilst she was carrying out her duties as Miss Northern Ireland. And I sort of thought, I could do that. I could do that. And my boyfriend, he says, absolutely, Anna. He says, yes, no problem, well, no bother to you. And he says, you need to do it now though, because you're not going to get the chance if you don't do it now. And I said, you're absolutely right. And I just, I got the laptop out that night, went on to the Miss Northern Ireland website, and I applied, and I'm so glad I did. And then I got an email through back in March then, inviting me to one of the heats. Now, they were virtual heats at the time because of COVID. And then I managed to get through as a finalist, and I could not believe it. I was so shocked, but I'm so glad I did it, and I'd always followed Miss Northern Ireland for many years, but never really thought about actually putting myself forward to enter. And I think just as I have lived my life, and I've been teaching now for the last 5 years, I think I've developed a lot of confidence in myself, even to be able to speak on here tonight, So, I'm so glad I did, and I'm a confident person anyway, but from being in the competition, it has really developed my confidence so much further, and being able to walk down the stage in a bikini in front of like 200 odd people. Do you know what I mean? So, so glad, really glad I did it.
So you applied in November, you got through to the final in March, and of course it's not just one night for the Miss Northern Ireland final, there's a lot of build-up, a lot of preparation for that night as well. And then on the evening, you're there, you start to get whittled down to the top 10, the top 5, maybe the top 3. What's starting to go through your head then as you get closer and closer?
Everybody's just feeling, like a bundle of nerves, to be honest, because nobody really knows what's going to happen. And there was 22 girls, and that is whittled down to like the top 10, although it was the top 13 this year, and then the top 5, and then the top, then you've got obviously your top 3, and nobody knows what's going to happen. Like, obviously for me, I won Miss Talent, so we had the talent competition that was held in the Broken Shaker, and I won that, and the winner was announced that evening, and with the Miss Sport Challenge, the winner was announced that day as well. So there were 2 people already that knew they were going to be in the top 10. So for me, I sort of knew, I've got to the top 10 anyway. Hopefully I can go on, go further. But for a lot of girls, that wasn't the case, and there were a lot of girls that night that were thinking, am I going to get into the top 10? So, I can imagine just how an awful feeling that would be. I sort of knew I was going to be in the top 10, which was great for me. But you're constant. I never thought, I suppose I always had my winners in mind. So when I got down to the top 5, I thought, my goodness, this could be me here. I could actually win this. And you're just on edge the whole time, thinking, is it going to be me? Is it not? I can't really explain the feeling, to be honest. You're just sort of, butterflies are just flying around your tummy because you just don't know what's going to happen. You're always just thinking, could it be? Could it be?
And then the moment comes, and the winner is...
I broke down. I broke down behind stage, and then the girls were like, come on, Anna, you need to get out on stage. And I was like, okay, Anna, compose yourself. So, it was just such a whirlwind of emotions, I have to say. I broke down behind stage, and then I thought, right, okay, need to go out on stage here and just have a big smile on my face. And I was so happy. But it didn't really hit me until, I would say, maybe about a week later. Yeah. To be honest, there were so many things going on, and it was just so busy for me to realise, oh my goodness, I'm Miss Northern Ireland, and I am going to Miss World to Puerto Rico in like a couple of months' time, which is now. I'm heading off this Saturday. That's come around so quick.
Okay, so if that was a whirlwind on that night, what has the last couple of months been like? So teaching full-time in the classroom, which you've already said that you've kept up full-time.
I know.
Doing a Masters, fulfilling the role of Miss Northern Ireland, all your charity work, and then preparing for Miss World. My head's spinning just thinking about it. So how do you get that balance between all of those different activities?
Well, I finished my Masters when I had won Miss Northern Ireland on the 6th of September. I had finished, my Masters deadline was at the end of September, so I made sure for those last few weeks, I thought, right, no, I need to focus on my Masters here as well. Like, that this is at the front of my mind, I need to get this done. I definitely don't think I could have done a Masters whilst doing Miss NI and a full-time job now. So I'm glad that my Masters is actually finished, because it does give me a wee bit more time to focus on teaching and obviously being Miss Northern Ireland, fulfilling those duties. But yeah, a lot of the events for Miss Northern Ireland are actually in the evening time, so it's easy enough. Now, if there was, say, to be an event during the day, you know, and I may have to take off school, I mean, that's okay, I'm able to do that, but there hasn't been so far. So I think you just have to be really good at just managing your time. And I have a wee diary. I keep everything in my diary as what I have on that week. And then I have Google Calendar, which gives you the whole overview of the month, which is great, you know. And I think sometimes you have to make sure that you look after yourself and get plenty of sleep as well, because I mean I couldn't do this if I wasn't getting the sleep at night and not eating, you know, a well-rounded, balanced diet as well. So you have to make sure that you're always looking after yourself. But I mean, yeah, you can do it. Loads of people do lots of, like 2-3 jobs at the one time, you know. So no, it's a privilege to be able to be Miss Northern Ireland and also carry out my job in teaching too. So
You make it sound very easy.
I think as well, just with the regards to a lot of the charity work I'm doing with Miss NI, I am doing a lot of work with Aware NI, who they're a charity that support young people and adults with you know, anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder and depression. And I think ever since I had seen the impact COVID-19 had on the kids in my class, I thought this is a charity I need to get involved in. And they have helped me, sort of do a lot of mental health and wellbeing strategies, implement those into the classroom. So I have been using a lot of my knowledge from that charity and doing a lot of work with them and been able to transfer that into the classroom, you know, as well. So both jobs kind of link as well, you know. And obviously now I'm an ambassador for the Northern Ireland Children's Hospice, and they've got a new programme called Kindness Counts, which they are implementing into primary schools and secondary schools. So I've implemented it into my school, and really excited, you know what, really excited just to share that simple message with all the kids that, you know, the smallest acts of kindness go such a long way in making a positive difference in people's lives. And I think a lot of the time there are kids there, I know from our school, you know, that maybe aren't aware that there are children of their age that are really, they have life-limiting illnesses, you know, and they're really at the end of their lives, and a lot of the kids aren't aware of that. So I think it's important to make them aware and raise awareness for that and show them that really they can do something to help. You know, I think that's very important.
Yeah, it's great to hear how the two link together, because maybe initially it doesn't seem quite so obvious.
I know. Well, it's all about, I mean, you know, beauty pageant, it's all about beauty with a purpose. And, you know, my purpose is, you know, my role as a teacher and teaching the kids and raising awareness for, you know, the likes of those children within NI Children's Hospice and the likes of Aware NI, and raising awareness for mental health and things like that, because I mean mental health is such a big thing now since COVID. It really, really is, and I think it's important to intervene early with children at as young as 4 and 5. You know, I have lots of kids coming into my classroom that have lots of different wee anxieties, and you wouldn't think that children that young have worries and things, but they do, you know. And I think it's important to realise that and be aware of it and sort of help those children too, and putting little strategies in place to help them overcome those barriers. So
Brilliant. It's great to hear the work that's going on there. And then this Saturday you're heading out to Puerto Rico. So what's the overriding feeling at the minute whenever you think about Puerto Rico? Does it feel like a holiday? Does it feel like work? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Or what's going on in your head at the moment?
I'm very excited, very nervous, very stressed this week. I'm so thankful that I, you know, left school. My last day at school was Friday, so I'm glad that sort of I have this week just to prepare and just focus solely on Miss World. And my parents have been great in helping me do that. I was in Belfast today with Mum and Dad. It's just great to have Mum there by your side, just with a wee checklist, helping you tick everything off, you know. But yeah, no, I think I am nervous because I don't really know what to expect. I've never been in anything like this before. I've never gone into any beauty pageant before. This is my first time. So very excited to see what will happen. And I think what's making me feel better is the fact that I'm not the only one doing this. There's a lot of other girls going from all across the globe that are in the same boat as me. I can't wait actually to meet so many girls from all over the world. I think it's going to be amazing. Girls from different cultures, different, you know, religions, and just completely submerse myself within that. I think, it's going to be such an experience, such an opportunity. I'm so honoured to be going, to miss the 70th Miss World anniversary as well, and the fact it's held in Puerto Rico. I mean, I think it's like 30 degrees there at the minute, so with all the bikinis packed, swapping the winter woolies for the bikinis.
Yeah, there's worse places that you could be going
I know.
And on top of the packing, I know you've got to prepare a talent and the national dance.
Yes.
So what are you able to tell us about those? Is that under wraps at the minute, or can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so no, I'm doing a national dance. My costume is amazing. A girl, Anna Byrne from Cookstown, Cookstown actually, the place where I'm from, she has designed it, and it is very, very heavy. The skirt is so heavy. I think I'm only going to need one suitcase for it. But it is based on the Irish famine, the costume, and it's all sustainable clothing as well, which is great. And basically the dance, I had met up with Annika Drennan, who choreographed the Miss Northern Ireland dance, and she's been doing that for many, many years. So she helped me last week to choreograph an amazing dance for our country, Northern Ireland. So it's to Lord of the Dance, which I love. I absolutely love that song. So very, very excited just to get on the stage and show everybody Northern Ireland, and so my talent as well, I'm playing the piano for it. Now I play violin too, and I sing a little bit too, but I thought I would do the piano because for Miss Northern Ireland I performed piano that night, and I did a piece by Claude Debussy, the French composer, and it relates back, I can really relate to that piece of music because it's about his daughter who goes to her piano lessons, which are actually quite boring. And as the piece unfolds, it reflects her angsty mood, but then suddenly the mood of the piece changes towards the end because she gets to leave her piano lesson and she gets to return to all her freedom and her fun and her games. And I can relate to that because I know when I went to some of my piano lessons, now they were all great, but there were some that were just a little bit boring because you were preparing for exams, grades, and you were practicing scales and arpeggios and doing lots of sight reading and ear tests. And it just got very, very repetitive, and just sometimes you just couldn't wait to get out. So I really could relate well to her, and it's all about and the piece was just about me, influencing young children and influencing them positively as well. So that's why I chose that piece of music to perform.
So there's a lesson in there as well. All those lessons, some of them maybe not all that exciting, paid off in the end when you won Miss Talent.
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, so just to recap then, we've got full-time teacher, we've got the masters, we've got the charity work, we've got Miss Northern Ireland, we've got singing, we've got violin, we've got piano.
Oh, I feel like that's make me a bit lightheaded, so it is when you said
Do you have any free time?
Do you have any free time? Yes, I do. Well, probably within the last, since I've won Miss NI, it's maybe been a wee bit more difficult to have free time, but I do try and make time sort of to go out walking, get home to Cookstown to see my family. I would play a lot in Hillsborough Parish Church. My boyfriend, he's musical director there, so I would play the violin there on a Sunday morning. I'm doing that actually over the last couple of weeks because he's needed me a lot, because there's been a lot of just people getting COVID and things like that and having to fill in for people. So no, I really, really enjoy doing that. And as I say, just going on lots of walks. I've been going to Susie Orr at Athena Athletics in Dromore. She's my personal trainer, and she's been, helping me tone up and be fit and healthy for heading off to Miss World as well. So I've been doing a lot of that, a lot of training, and I suppose just practicing. I love playing the violin as well and doing that in church and things, and getting the chance to have a free Saturday night to watch Strictly Come Dancing is just amazing, when I'm able to do that. So I love watching Strictly, and as I say, it's been difficult. It has been difficult over the last few weeks, just with doing a lot of preparation for Miss World and things. But hopefully when I get back from Miss World there might be a wee bit more free time. We'll see.
So what's the plan then when you come back from Miss World? Will you take some time off, or are you going to go straight back into teaching?
I get back on the 18th of December, and I'm planning to go into school on the 20th, on the Monday and the Tuesday. But do you know what? It's only it's only 2 days, and I mean, I couldn't miss going in and seeing those lovely wee faces, those excited little faces at the prospect of Santa coming. You know, I have to get in to see that, and I have to get in to hear about what they're getting for Christmas, and just, you know, join in with all that festive cheer. So I'm excited to do that. Now, there's no doubt I'm going to be absolutely shattered, but it's only 2 days. I'm going to have 2-week holiday after that, and then back to work in January. So, I mean, I'm going to continue teaching full time. There's no getting away from it.
Okay, and you're planning to keep in touch with the kids as well while you're away,
yes,
if you can?
Yes, I am planning. Hopefully, I'd set up a webcam in the classroom to hopefully Zoom call the kids when I'm out in Puerto Rico. So hopefully, if that, I'm hoping and praying that works out and I'm able to do it. But I think it would just be great for me just to, you know, check in with them all on a weekly basis, see how they're all doing, because it's going to be hard for them not to see me, you know, every day for 5 weeks. Now, they still have, you know, the classroom assistant in with them. My classroom assistant's amazing. She is just fabulous. I couldn't teach every day without her. And obviously there is a sub teacher in with them as well, and they were able to meet her last week when I was in. We did a wee bit of team teaching together, just for the kids to familiarise themselves with her. So it'll be good for me just to check in, see how everything's going, and for them just to see me out in Miss World. I think they'll be just very excited.
Yeah, and from what I've seen on your Instagram over the last couple of months, they're your number one supporters.
Oh, they are. I know. They sent me a wee little good luck video today. It was very, very cute.
Yeah, lovely. And then finally, I suppose, what would you say has been the biggest benefit of you going on this Miss Northern Ireland journey? And maybe do you have any advice for somebody who's watching this or listening to this?
Yeah, I would just say, do you know what? I mean, I'm 27. I could have applied for this long ago, but I didn't. And I think sometimes you just have to grab the opportunity then and there and just go for it. Just go for it. And just be the best possible version of yourself that you can be, and give everything 110%, because that's what I've done, and I've always done that. And you know, there is I mean, people do, you know, struggle with confidence and things like that, but just be yourself. I mean, be yourself, and don't be worrying about what other people are going to think, or, you know, yeah, just don't worry about other people. Just do what's right for you and be yourself. That's the best advice I would give to anybody. And just go for things, and don't be scared. Just go for it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, you know?
And all that's left to say then is all the very best for your time in Puerto Rico with Miss World.
Thank you very much,
It's been
Scott.
so interesting to hear you talk with
Thank
passion
you.
about your teaching and about your role as Miss Northern Ireland and the charity work and everything that goes along with that as well. So
Yeah.
I'm in no doubt that you're going to do us proud over in Puerto Rico. So all the very best and have a great time.
Oh, thank you so much.
The Green Room. The Green Room with Scott Martin. Speaking to some of Northern Ireland's most recognizable faces and getting to know the person behind the title.
In association with Town Square Belfast.
Lisburn's 98 FM.